Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are and what time it is where you're joining us from. This is Mindset Monday. It is a marvelous mountain moving Mindset Monday, and I welcome you on Speak It with Zoliswa, where we get to talk about Mindset Monday with Motsemme. She's going to be joining us. She's just having a little bit of a challenge in terms of the connection problems, but in the meantime, I thought I must just go live and welcome you because you are the most important person in my life at this stage, and we value the fact that you have made it to connect with us here. My name is Zoliswa Tshetshe. I am a transformation life coach. I'm an inspirational speaker, a published author. I call myself a mindset advocate. Oh, babes, we're mindset. But to you, I'm just your sister having a conversation with you over a glass of wine, a cup of tea, perhaps a glass of water like the one that I have here. It could be anything that you want to have with you while you are sharing this space with us and spending the most valuable 45 minutes of your life. So in this series, we are going to be talking about the book. I said Khao is available. She is here. She's about to join me, and I am about to introduce her. Hi, Khao. I have
Hello,
just
beautiful.
I have
Can you hear me?
welcomed. Yes, I can hear you. I've just welcomed
Awesome.
everyone because I could see that they are waiting, and I told them that you're having a little bit of a hiccup in terms of the connection. So we are so happy to have you. We are so excited to manage to join immediately.
I'm
So as
grateful too.
I say, this is Motsemme. She is my sister from another mother. She is a freedom illuminator, my fellow coach, a healthy relationships, functional healthy relationships intuitive coach. She is based in Germany, and she shares this space with me, especially during this season where we are taking a chapter from the book I Serve, starting from last week where we dealt with the first chapter, and today we are going to be tackling the second chapter. How I'm putting you on the spot. You haven't even had a chance to just get a sip from your glass of water. Good afternoon or good evening, and welcome. Oh, this is
Hello,
so
everyone. I'm excited to be here because with this whole technology issue, you don't know what's gonna happen. You never know what's gonna happen, and I'm happy to be here. Yeah. Where can I start? It's a beautiful. I'm actually excited about what we're gonna talk about today. I feel it's a really important and complicated. What came up for me, I find it important but complicated or misunderstood part. So I just love it. Like you just said, send me Roman, schick
romantic.
mir oder sowas auf Deutsch. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And Atula says, hello, beautiful Khao. I couldn't have agreed with him more.
Oh,
Hello,
thank you.
beautiful Swali. Now I'm blushing. It's a two. That's what Love Tintin says. Please remember that this is an interactive session. This session, Khao and I meet often. Of course, she is in Germany, in Europe. I am in South Africa, Africa. But we speak more than we do with you. So we have this platform. We have made the platform available so as to interact with you. We love hearing from you. It's so good to just have a comment coming from you because it gives us an indication of whether we are talking to the needs of your spirit. Are we touching those areas that you would like to hear about, those areas that you would like to activate so that we can grow together from one level of consciousness to the other? So I'm so happy with everyone that is here. I would love to see the number of comments equivalent to the number of people I see. We have more people that are watching than the people that are commenting. So don't be like that now. Send those comments. Let us hear what you would like, what you are, um, whether we are touching you or not. So, as I was saying,
And it's
today
just
we're
a creation of space, one thing that I'm truly grateful every day is for you amazing, beautiful ladies who show up and really contribute because it shows that we are creating this space together. That's very, very important. And I value this and I value your time, I value your feedback because it makes the show what it is. Truly, I'm truly grateful for your input, your energy. It's what makes it so effective and impactful, and I'm grateful for that.
Absolutely. I agree with you fully. It also helps you and I to put together the program for the retreat that they have asked for. The retreat is coming, the date will come, but Hawa and I will be coming to you sometime on that weekend retreat. So comment, let us understand what you would like us to cook for you, what should be in this dish, so that we can serve you accordingly. Talking about so that we can serve you accordingly, today we are guided by chapter 2 of the book. Oh, okay. It's supposed to be closer, but here it is. This is the book. I'm trying to get it closer to the camera. This is the book I serve. So today we are going to be guided by chapter 2. Chapter 2 is entitled Romana Tumamina, Send Me. And as I was going through the book once again, remember, this is about the practical application. It's one thing to read a book in a novel type of a method and feel good about it and not do anything about the insights that come from it afterwards. We are not about that life. We are about touching your areas of life that are wounded, and those areas of her life that are not wounded but that would love to be expanded so that you can evolve upwards, spiral upwards to the extent that you are alive. So this only happens when you begin to apply the knowledge that you come across in your life. So as we, Hawa and I were looking, of course, separately, we're looking at the chapter. Some things came up for me, some things came up for her. And I must reinforce, I must say this. Our sessions are not scripted. What I say here, Hawa says, hears for the first time. What she says, I hear for the first time, because whatever has been placed in her spirit by the universe at that time, I believe that it is relevant for everyone that gets to watch this, everyone that was passing by and get to stop at a certain point. It is because that particular piece of message is intended for that person. So it is not by mistake that you are here. It's not by mistake that we are going to be talking about this conversation together. It means that there is something for you to take and apply in your own life. And when you do that, when you take those appropriate steps, it's only then that you are going to realize that actually we are on a journey of spiraling upwards. We are on a journey of opening our eyes to new things, of awakening and of healing in different aspects of our lives. So, Khao, what came up for you? Anything that came up for you as you were looking at the chapter in the course of the last week?
Actually, I love it, and the timing is totally perfect because when you say send me and I read what you've written, it was a beautiful weekend because I had a younger brother who had his birthday on the 29th of August. He's close to my heart. And what came through when I look at the chapter and where I was, this is the weekend where for me I sit and just be grateful of life. Every time when his birthday, I realize how important and urgent our life is. And one other beautiful thing again is that we had this Chadwick who passed on, the one from what's the name of the movie? It's just disappeared from my mind now.
Yes, the African one, that one.
Yeah, from yeah. So he passed on at an early age, but at the end of the day, he did what he came here to do. And talking about my younger brother, why I am always centered in that grace whenever his birthday is because he had he had an accident close to 10 years ago and he nearly died. It was, yeah, from Black Panther. Thank you. Thank you, Zamek. I appreciate it. And he nearly died. And that was the moment for me when you say send me, that was the moment after refusing, despite what life was throwing me, refusing to listen to the calling that was knocking on my door. When he nearly lost his life, when he was unconscious in the hospital and all that, like the doctors were surprised that he was even walking, to say you're not even supposed to be walking, at least you should be alive but on a wheelchair, you understand. And at that moment of desperation, I still remember through the tears when I prayed, I said, God, save his life and tell me what I'm here to do. I'll do it. That was a time when I was like saying that, send me, now send me, because I don't know what the hell is going on, but I want this boy to live, you know. So when I read this, it took me there. It found me in that moment of grace for life. Like I said, it's important and it's urgent. And the question, like you said, is when we are here, what is it that we are here to do? And there is I just love that. I just want to sit with that, and I'll just stop there because it makes us, both of us, to really ground in our body. Like I always urge you, whenever we're talking, I want you to see, what do you really feel? You know, what is coming through for you? Because for me, it found me in this grace. And when Chadwick passed on, it found me in that moment of the grace of life and really not knowing when we're gonna leave this earth. So it grounded that message even more. So this is what I would like us to really sit with, every one of us, and see what is really coming up for you. You know, it doesn't matter how much or how old or young we are. The question is right now in this moment, even when you, at times we think of purpose as something big, but when you just sit and say, you know, breathe and say, I'm grateful for this life. And you start there before you can be in our head. You know, I just want to start with that and see where you're going to take it, because there's a lot that is coming through. This is why I'm saying it's complicated, but it's also one of the most important things in our life. At some point in life, we just have to stop, either through something beautiful happening, or at times, because the challenges as human beings, we are woken up by something tragic. Like in our case, where I was refusing to follow that calling. But when my younger brother nearly died, and it's especially that it's something that I knew before it happened, like it was on the 6th of January, before Christmas, I told him that it was real. I saw you, you were dying. I was talking about your dreams and all that. And I'm grateful at the same time the way he showed up when I told him what I saw. And he said, oh, I'm still going to live. I've got so many years to go. I'm not going to die, not anytime soon. So that was also a good response from him, because some of these things, whatever we are told, especially if it's premonitions, when you buy into it and fear it, you affirm it happening. But his response was like, I'm still here for a long time. And when the accident happened 2 weeks later, he managed to go through it and came out of it alive, which was a gift that at that moment, like I learned it later when Spirit came through and told me that was a gift for your family. You know, sometimes we get gifts from those tragic incidents, but at the same time, like I said, it's for us all to sit with that and be grateful for life before you can rush to say, I have to do that. Yes, our life is important and it's urgent. The question is, where are you? Are you living it? What is your purpose? And all those things. But it's not things that we have to do or we can attain them from the mind. It's for us to be here in this body that we are walking in this beautiful time.
I love that. And I love the fact that you're making reference to somebody closest, one of the people that are closest to you, that when something happened, you raised your hand and said, this is very important to me and I'm prepared to do anything. Just tell me what it is that I need to do. Because sometimes we get pulled into certain corners, dark corners in many respects. Dark, not necessarily in terms of the color, but it could be a dark corner where you are going to give attention because you may not have been paying attention. The messages may have been there all along, but you were not paying attention because we live in a very busy world. For example, what triggered the send me in the chapter, it was a message that was given by the president on the day, the current president of South Africa, on the day when he was inaugurated. And as I was traveling on that day, and as I got to the destination and I switched the TV on, he had just finished, or he was about to finish his speech, and he was saying send me and making reference to the song of the late Dada Hugh Masekela. But as much as he was talking about him being sent to lead the country, something said to me, wait a minute, what have you been sent to do in this world? Because everyone, it doesn't matter what kind of a profile that you have in the society, whether you have an elevated profile, you are an elitist, or you are an ordinary person just like you and I, like Hawa and I, You have a space that is created specifically to be managed by you. There is something that has to be done by you. And that is what Gawa refers to when she says, we think the purpose is a huge thing. And it's actually not. It just begins with the universe telling you and you listening to, what do you want me to do tomorrow? What is it that you have kept the oxygen for me for? What do I have to do so that I confirm that I am living in the right track in terms of the creation of this new earth that we are here to do, that we are all about? So two things that came for me was the purpose and the timing. And the time, Albert Einstein says that time is there so that everything doesn't happen at once. But there is no such a thing as the future, really. Because if we're talking about the future and we're saying that someday I will do it, someday I will respond to the call, the question is, when is someday? Because someday doesn't exist in the calendar. There is no such a date as a future in the calendar. Even if you were to give it a date and say on the 1st of January 2021, because the year 2020 is cancelled, when you get to the 1st of January 2021, that will not be the future. That will be the present. So the most important time to focus on is the now, because the past has already happened and there is nothing that you can do about it. It doesn't matter how much of a control freak you are, but the past remains in the past. It doesn't matter how much of a control freak you are, the future has not yet arrived, and therefore you cannot control it. There isn't much that you can do about the future except prepare for it. And the preparation for the future happens in the now. It happens today. And the question is, what do you open yourself up to today? Are you willing to say, in the now, I am just going to focus on what is required of me? And I always say that the answers are within you. You go within to find the answers because everybody else is already taken. You cannot outsource your life by asking external people to give you answers about what you should be doing in this world. The answers reside inside of you. Many people do things such as prayer or any kind of ceremonies to ask questions, but are you there to listen to the answers when the time comes for you to receive those? Are those going to find you in the appropriate place? Meditation is one of the practices that I do and I advocate because it just centers me. It gives me an opportunity to worry about nothing, not worry about what's going to happen in the next minute, not worry about the next thought that I'm going to have, but just not worry at all. Just be here, listen to my breath, focus on that light. If it is the light that I'm focusing on, focus on brushing my teeth. And when we talk meditation, we're not necessarily talking about the and the folding of your legs or whatever. No, it's just the space of being present at that time and going within yourself so as to just allow your mind to calm down. It is said that research, there is wisdom that says that we have an average of 70,000 thoughts that pass through our minds every day. Do you know what you thought at 12:35 today? Okay, 13:14 then. 14:27? You probably don't know. But you actually had a thought passing through your mind. Now we need to slow down because there's just so much that is happening and we're unable to hear because of the noise and the clutter that is happening in our minds. Zamega says, I love that focus on the now. Yes, Zamega, it is very important. The focus on the now is the most important thing you can do for yourself because it's always going to be the now. The now will never go away. Tomorrow, it will still be the now. The other day, it will still be the now. Whenever you pause and reflect and look at everything that is happening around you, the time will always be now. So now is the time for you to do something. Now is the time for you to look around and ask yourself, what is the purpose that I should carry out? Or even what is the purpose that I am? Because you are a purpose that is in this life to complete some kind of a task that needs to be done. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. The spirit in you, in your body, so that something can be carried out.
Yeah, like you're saying, actually, for instance, when you talk about purpose, we always thinking that we should be doing something and it should be something so huge. Um, and I love that we are talking about this, especially during these times of COVID, which the message that was truly coming through from this situation across the globe is to say we are not human doers, really. We are human beings, you know. So it's time where we really, our purpose is to be, you know, like you say, to be in the now, to be who we are, you know. But most of the time when you talk about purpose, we always go out there like it has to be so big, it has to be something, I have to be doing something. And we always pushing, this is also where we coming from the patriarchy or the masculine way of living, basically, be be, you know, because even that message that you're talking about, whether it's the next guidance to say what is the next thing to do, you are not going to get it through the doing and the pushing of certain things, and because that's being in the mind, that's what we've been doing for a long time. Now the whole thing is to be a full expression of who you are, which most of the time when you talk about to be, or even your purpose, we want to find it written somewhere, we want to go somewhere, maybe someone will tell us what our purpose is. But the interesting thing is we are amazing, unique individuals with the personalities that we have chosen. And for me, actually, when because you were talking about people who are holding certain positions in the public eyes, and there is different opinions that comes with that. Some people perceive them differently. There is at times strong judgment, and some of these things are things that have sort of fear to say, oh, I don't want to put myself out there, I don't want to do or be out there, because if I'm there, people will scrutinize me, people will judge me. And you are afraid of being, and at times it comes to us because we are also so focused and judgmental at the same time, because the time when you are really afraid of being judged, you realize that you are also very much judging other people. That's when you are afraid of being judged. You know, the time when I was afraid, oh, they'll judge me, what would they think, I realized that I am judging other people, but most of all I am judging myself.
Yeah.
You know, when you think they'll think I'm stupid, I won't appear like, you know, whatever that you have, you know, it's you who is calling that forth. And the moment you show up, you expected that negative feedback, you expected the judgment, because you judge yourself already, and you also judge other people. I love that you brought the personalities in, or how they are perceived, because we have the personalities, and when you are a full expression of who you are going to show up not nice. You're going to show up as a human being. You're going to show up with your emotions. You are going to show up as a full expression of who you are, which is not, it don't be like a nice dish for everybody. You're going to be for other people, and other people won't like you. And that should be okay with you if you are okay with yourself. But if you're operating from that self seeking approval, you know, that mask that we normally wear, I want to be loved by everyone, I want to be nice, then you are not showing up as a full expression of who you are. You want to put your personality in a bag and adopt somebody's personality. And where is your purpose if you want to be like somebody else? Where would you find your purpose? Because then by imitating somebody, what are you going to imitate somebody's purpose because somebody's doing it, and now you think, oh, it's a good position or whatever, then I'm going to show up and be that. You are robbing the world of an expression of who you really are. You are robbing the world of what you came here to be, because at times, just by being your energy, by being present, there is something that you are anchoring. It's not somewhere in the mind, it's not something that you should be carrying. Because when you talk about we are here because we are love, we are here to really find or remember that we are love. You're not going to come carrying love in a bucket or a bowl and show someone this is the love. Or even you can't put it, because like this love, I know I've been questioned. There's someone that I was having a conversation with a while ago, and that's some things that I was not willing to condone. and for my own benefit and for his, because for me it was a position that was bringing that inner child of me that can really be angry now so easily, that child that can be defensive. So we could not have a conversation. So I decided, no, I am not going to engage. I think I'm gonna break this, whatever that we're having. I want you to have your space, because at the same time he was refusing to accept where he was, to say, this is where I'm at. This is my little child. I mean, he saw it, but now it was like every time when there's kind of like a difference, like, oh, that's my little child. It's not me. And I'm like, no, it's you. That little child is in you. At times this whole thing, and like, oh, I'm done with it now. I'm evolved now. I'm gonna show up as a probably more positive person. I'm like, no, no, just show up as you are. And this is an illusion that we have, because at times we want to be somewhere so badly. We want to have achieved certain standards or certain things in life, even with the spirituality. There are times in my life when I was going through this growth, and I had to stop and ask myself, why am I so immersed in this? What is it that I really want in this? There was a part of me that wanted to sort of run away from the reality. It's both realities, right? The spiritual, it's a real, and this is also real, because at times when you go deeper into the spiritual, it's like, oh, that's just an illusion, and you don't want to feel the emotions right here. You don't want to deal with the shit that is happening here. So you want to be in the mindset that, no, this is an illusion. What is real is something that we do not see. That's also an illusion. That's what we call spiritual bypassing. We don't want to be here. We don't want to feel. We don't want to deal with the shit that is happening here. So I want to grasp an idea either of positivity or of that spirituality. We bypass. We are running from somewhere. So I had to stop myself at some point and ask myself, why is it like I'm running? What is this rush? Like there's somewhere where I have to be. Yet wherever that we are, wherever that you are at, no matter what shit is happening, you are in the right place at the perfect time, and your purpose is to be in there. Appreciate it, breathe, and see what is happening, because your soul knows what is next for you. But the question is, are you present with it for you to know what's next?
A number of things are coming to mind, Khawo, as you are speaking, and one of them is leadership. As you're saying that you can't imitate somebody else's purpose, you have to be yourself. You have to be authentically you, because the purpose that you are is uniquely yours. You can't expect that you're going to be following a large number of people so as to verify and validate that you are on the right track. You actually are likely to be isolated in the process of following the purpose that you are, because it's supposed to be led by you. And if you do not take the lead, then it is not going to happen. It is just not going to happen. It's going to be thwarted. So it's important that you connect with the why. You connect with this presence, the now, because it is only through that connection that you are going to appreciate and understand the value of why you have the opportunity of now, and the opportunity to continue, as you were making the example when your brother said, no, don't worry, I actually have a long time to live. And yes, he has a long time to live, and each moment it's a moment to reflect and say, what am I living for? When I look around, when I look at little things like the chair that I'm sitting on, the fact that we have lights, the fact that we are connecting from different areas, corners of the world, makes me wonder, what is my own innovation that I'm going to come up with? And it doesn't have to be in the magnitude of being able to connect the world globally, but there is something tiny that is expected to come through from me. Otherwise, if there was nothing of that nature, then definitely I wouldn't be alive. And if I pick it up and I execute it, and you pick yours up, you execute it, and the next person and the next person, it's only then that we will be able to create the new earth. We will be able to create the world that is complete, the world that we would love to see. A world where we understand that we cannot cause pain to each other because we are one. If I cause pain on my finger, then another part of my body is going to experience the sensation because all of the cells that are in my body are connected. So when I understand that my life, my role in this world is not just for me, it is for me as a starting point. It starts with me so that when I have nurtured myself, I then serve somebody else. I transfer it to somebody else because my purpose is not just for myself or even just for my immediate family. It is for the benefit of the other people that are around. And we then circulate and spread the love like that. Because ultimately, what we are all about is love. Even the people that are hurting other people, for them, that is the expression of love. They are clumsy. They just don't know what is the appropriate way of doing it. Some are doing it to seek love. Others are doing it to express love, and it can be done appropriately. It can be done in a way that is very clumsy, but we are all about love. So I agree fully with you on that. So somebody is sitting there and says, I hear you are talking about purpose. I hear you are talking about being non-judgmental on myself first, because for that matter, it's possible that people are not even thinking about judging me because they are busy with their own lives. Where do I start if I want to raise my hand to something and say, send me? As a coach, what do you say, Khao?
I mean, I've said a lot of things, and of all the things that I've said, I always come back to the body, because our emotions are the GPS. And when you talk, because when you go outside to say, what am I to do, you are getting into the mind, and you are leaving the GPS here, which is your heart, because your heart, your soul is within you, and it knows the answer. And when you go into the doing, because when you go back to when I say go back to the body, it's like, how do I feel? Even right now, if I am just doing this thing for whatever reason, and there is nothing in me that really makes me light up when I do it, what's the point of doing it? You understand? This is why, even with me, with the accounting part, it's something that I don't talk about a lot, because it doesn't light my soul. There is nothing really there for me. I feel empty. I don't talk about it, unless you go find out, oh, she was an accountant. But I don't think you ever heard me say, okay, well, unless maybe I talk about some issues that I experienced at work. But yeah, it's something that, for me, when I talk about it, I feel like I just did it because I wanted to earn money. And as much as it was about earning money, it's sort of like something within me. I was losing something instead of gaining something. I was not proud of going to work every day, because I felt like I'm just robbing the company of the money, or maybe someone who is more passionate and who can do something about that position would have done it. So when I say come back to the body, the question is, how do you feel? Because it's not about, like I said, it's not about doing, it's about being. Because if you are not in your body, if you are not doing something that brings you joy, then you are not going to be anything for somebody. You are not going to serve anyone. You're not going to do anyone any service. This is why, because we lie to ourselves, we condition ourselves to show up in a certain way. We do things that we do not like, because our thinking is, we have been, actually, the system actually brought us into that situation where we've been put in a class, taught what we're taught. This is just the way to life. When you think of doing something that truly brings you joy, you kind of like shy away from it. I remember I was talking to my niece some months ago, and she said, one thing that I really love doing, it's sort of doing makeup and all that. I think it's just like something that, for her, it makes her happy when she has done something and someone looks beautiful. That joy that comes from someone, that's something that for her it means something. It's something huge. But when you think of doing that, or even say, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be a makeup artist, whatever, it's like it get questioned a lot, like, come on, really, that but something that makes you happy, that brings you joy, might not be visible as something that is huge. I still remember, even when I spoke about following your passion and doing your purpose, someone said, come on, you're talking about being a healer, as if that's something real or something like that. responding to me, and that was beautiful because it shows where we are at. There's some things that we don't consider as real, because real is something like being an engineer, being an accountant, being a lawyer, and all that. We don't consider small things, even holding space. Like I said, you mentioned something actually that sort of stuck up, to say there are some people who are hurting others, and they don't know the proper or appropriate way of showing that love, or that's the only way that they have learned the love. And these are some of the things that truly, at a soul level, here we judge, however, people, whatever that is happening, as much as it's ugliest, however that it shows up in its own ugliness according to the human perception and all that, at a soul level, it's all perfection. It's all perfection. This is why when I say, when you don't listen to the messages that are coming through, when you don't listen to your body, whatever that is, if something is not joyful for you, if you are more, even in a relationship, it's most of the time you are so frustrated. There is, even at times it's not even most of the time. I'll give an example with me. I was married. My husband loved me. I loved him. I still do love him. I truly love that man. You don't understand. I love him. And we had so many connection points. It was one of the beautiful things ever. It still is to me. As you can see, it lights me up when I talk about the love that I truly have for my husband or ex-husband. But there is a point where, for me, this spiritual path is one of the big aspects of my life. It's really, really, really huge. It means me breathing. It means be joyful. The reason why I'm walking this earth is for that which my soul chose me to be here and do. And for him, it's something that when he talk about this whole spirituality, he questions my intelligence. He will tell me that, there was a time when I met you, you're really intelligent, and this thing that you're doing. The other time he joined me in a spiritual gathering, and he supported me, but he was like, I wish there was someone who was intelligent who I can have a conversation with. So it was that was huge for me. Most of the time we were really happy. And like I said, my heart opens when I talk about him, because I love that man. And the fact that this part, he didn't understand it. And that was my purpose. That is a huge part of my life. He does not understand it. And I was not going to push the relationship to say, let's stay together and fight while I do this thing that you really don't like and you question, and that makes me shrink every time. It does not help me to evolve or open up and really be myself in this, because every time when something is happening, I'll come out from a meditation, something huge is happening, and okay, I have to keep quiet to avoid a conflict or something like that. I still remember I had a conversation with a friend who asked me, but what is wrong with that? Just do your own thing, like secretly, and don't say anything to him. And I said, the problem is, when we are together, when I wake up in the morning, early morning, to go meditate, he's just like, let's sit together and just cuddle. It's a beautiful thing. It's sexy, it's romantic, but there's something else that I want to do. It sounds so stupid, but it's something that was not really bringing us together, despite the connections that we had in many areas. So when you are just being truthful to yourself, you really know what matters to you. And one other point, actually, when you talk about whether you want to do something, I still remember not so long ago, I had someone asking this question, to say, what should you do? You love painting, and when you do your painting, there is some joy that flows in it. There is just something in you that happens. You can't explain it, but when you look at it, probably you are not proud that, okay, it's something that can be put out there. What is important? What is important is you did that painting. Just by that painting being in there, that thing that you made by yourself, that's the most important thing. That joy that comes from you, that fulfillment that comes from you. It doesn't mean that you have to go and force it on or to someone or something. Someone maybe will come and say it and go like, wow, this is amazing, because they will get that, whatever that you are bringing in. But the fact that you took whatever that is inside you and put it on that canvas, you have anchored what you are here to anchor. This is why I'm saying it's not something huge. It's something so small. It's guided by our emotions, our feeling. It's guided by those small things that brings us joy. When we are in our head, we're gonna go around and run around and get lost in all that thing that we think it has to be done. But when you start with that small thing, especially that a purpose evolves, that little painting that you start doing, you put on a canvas. It's so small, you put it yourself, but you fall in love with it every time you look at it. And then now that's a yes from you. That's the send me part. When you say send me, you have agreed with that, what you came here to do. And now more ideas are coming through. Now it's evolving into something that you don't know where it's going to end, but go with the flow. The flow is, how do I feel? The flow is, what is it that I love to do? I believe it's a starting point for everyone, not what other people want to see, or even if other people say, oh, for instance, if you're doing that small thing and you're just happy, you can meet someone and it's like, oh, how are you doing? Like, oh, I'm blessed and grateful. And it's like, what is happening in your life? I'm just happy. There's nothing for you to say, because you're not going to understand. Like I said, when I talk about my own experience with my ex-husband, he doesn't understand, but it's something that opens me up. There is something that I cannot explain, that I just want to, at times I want to scream on top of the world and tell the whole world there is love. It's so flipping crazy, but it's something that truly brings me into life. I feel alive when I connect with that part of me, when I do that. But he doesn't understand it, and he doesn't have to understand it. This is what we don't understand. He doesn't have to get it. All things exist, even those who are hurting us. But at the core of it, it's happening because we have agreed that I am going there, and I'm going to meet people who will say, that is so stupid. I know an intelligent part of you. And you say, you don't understand, because this is the part of me that I really love. This is the part of me that I'm here to be, And the moment you appreciate it, because right now, at the first, when we were starting this whole divorce thing, my husband, there was like that conflict. But the more I allowed myself to flourish in that, suddenly our relationship is totally different. Even in our separation, it's different because he realizes, he sees me now, because I have allowed myself to be who I am here to be. That joy that I am, I can share it with him, and he realizes, and I believe we all have, if we can really follow that thing within us and not expect someone else to say, oh, that is right, oh, you are happy about that, then do it. We just have to follow that, and eventually people will start realizing, you're just so beautiful, you're just so happy, because you start glowing, you start radiating that which is within you, and people get attracted to you by that which you have.
I agree fully. There is something that keeps coming up to me as you are talking, and in this last few minutes, I feel really it's very important that I say it, even though we don't have time. But when it comes to this expression of our talent, when it comes to the transition, for example, from university to starting the world of work, and we teach our children to study something so that they can be employed. But who is going to employ you? Because someone has been sent to start something and created employment. And there are so many people that need to be employed. It might not be that everyone will be absorbed by the employers. What if you were to create the world of employment in the space that is an expression of your own talent, in a space where you are sent to carry out a certain function into the world? Because then in that way, you would be doing work by way of a job, but you would be loving every minute of it, meaning that you are just doing a hobby, just like that painting that I was talking about, but you are actually getting paid for it. Who doesn't want to live in a world where they love the life they live? I'm sure everybody loves to do that. So that is one of the areas where I think we should actually look into the whole space of Send Me in different perspectives. It doesn't have to be something huge, but it requires of you to be yourself. It requires of you to be you regardless of what the people around are going to say. And you don't have to hide who you are, because if you hide who you are, you will have robbed the whole world of experiencing the essence of who you are, and there will always be the gap that will be left there, because that gap was supposed to be closed by you. That gap was supposed to be finished, completed, and sealed by you. You're the one that was supposed to have taken up that space and concretize it, so that something new can innovate, something new can emerge out of that space. In the interest of time, this is where we ended today. Motsemme and Zoliswa Tshetshe will be with you again next week on Mindset Monday, same place, same time. In the meantime, if you wish to continue with the conversation and you would love to contact one of us and speak more to establish if there is a way that we can work together, Khawa is available on www.khawamotsemme.org. Khawa, you're also going to drop me the link to the program that you are running at the moment on the, so that I can put it on the comments field here. And of course, I'm Zoliswa Tshetshe, and I'm available on lingelam.co.za. We will continue with chapter 3 of the book next week. And if you wish to stay connected and understand what we are talking about, the book is available with us at our premises at the moment. There's a limited stock available. Otherwise, you can get hold of it on amazon.com, on smashwords.com as an ebook version, takealot.com if you are in South Africa as a hard copy. It may take a few days before it reaches you, but it is available with us at the moment. And if you just send me a private message and say you are interested in the book, we will send you details as to how to get hold of it. And how you will
get a book and catch up with us.
Yes, yes. Thank you everyone for joining us. We appreciate you. We love your comments as well. Remember, join us again next week, same time, same place, and Khawa will be here to serve you. Up until then, have a fantastic week and goodbye.
Bye.